I'd like to call to order the Public Improvement Commission hearing of February 15th, 2018. Our first item, a public hearing on a joint petition by BCH 819 Beacon Street LLC and the Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority for the abandonment of any and all rights to travel the public may have had on a portion of Munson Street, a private way open to public travel in Boston proper, from its southeasterly terminus to a point approximately 90 feet northwesterly. This was new business on February 1st, 2018, and this is shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Abandonment Plan, Munson Street, Boston proper, one sheet dated October 25th, 2017.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the Commission. Darren Baird from Goulston and Storrs, Legal Counsel for BCH 819 Beacon Street. To my left is Howard Mosier from VHB, the project engineer, and then directly behind me in the first row is Mary Caitlin McSally O'Connor from Boston Children's Hospital, Office of General Counsel, as well as Spencer Smith from Greystone and Company as representative for the MBTA, our co-petitioner. We're here this morning seeking the abandonment of the southern portion of Munson Street as it sits between two parcels that the petitioner owns fee title to. And I believe at this point we've submitted a revised plan that has the changes that the Commission requested last time, showing the City of Boston sewer easement, and are available to answer any questions the Commission may have.
Any questions or comments? No one else. Questions or comments? Same here, Todd.
We're good.
Members of the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion on this first item.
I'll make a motion to approve a petition by BCH 819 Beacon Street LLC and the Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority for the abandonment of any and all rights to travel the public may have had on a portion of Munson Street, as read into the record by the chair and as shown on the plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Abandonment Plan, Munson Street, Boston proper, one sheet dated October 25th, 2017.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item is on a joint petition by 130 Northern Avenue LLC and 140 Northern Avenue LLC for the abandonment of any and all rights to travel the public may have had on Pier 4 Place, a private way open to public travel in South Boston between Northern Avenue and Harbor Shore Drive. This was new business on February 1st, 2018. This is as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Abandonment Plan, Pier 4 Place, a private way open to public travel in South Boston, one sheet, dated October 1st, 2017.
Good morning. Just a quick introduction. My name is Tyler Deaton. I'm with Tishman Speyer, the developer for Pier 4. To my left here is Elizabeth Randall with Reed Hildebrandt, our landscape architect, and Nate Cheel from Tetra Tech, who is our civil engineer. With that, I'll turn it over to Nate.
Thank you. Again, we're here this morning requesting the abandonment of Pier 4 Place, an unimproved 60-foot wide private way open to public travel. First of two actions we're here for today.
This is the first of two. Can you just walk us through sort of the comprehensive plan, and then we can talk specifically about this one?
The second action that we'll be putting before you today is the layout approval of Pier 4 Boulevard. That'll be a 64-foot wide private way open to public travel. The boulevard will accommodate a 5-foot pedestrian path on each side of the road, a 6-foot furnishing zone with standalone pavers, 5-foot bike lanes on each side, 10-foot travel lanes, flush granite median is 3.3 feet wide. And then on the east side of the road, we have a drop-off area for the office building. It's an 8-foot drop-off. It's delineated with a flush curve and then a paver surface.
Maybe in a nutshell, new layout over the abandoned.
Right. Yeah, so we're just taking, it's pretty much in the same spot. It's getting a little bit bigger, and it's becoming a boulevard instead of a place.
It is something I haven't thought through. We need to ensure that 50 years from now, or whenever, because this is still a private way open to public travel, that the abutters don't have the right to abandon this and do something else. Because these streets were laid out even though as private ways so that people have access to the waterfront.
Right, they would have to come back to the Public Improvement Commission if they wanted to get rid of it.
With the previous action item, we abandoned it and we don't know what might happen there.
Right, so this action will be contingent upon the third action.
Yeah, exactly.
Does that make sense?
So make sure that it never even though the abutters have the legal right to entertain that, it may not be viewed favorably from us.
Right.
Other questions or comments?
So as a private way, you'll be maintaining the drainage, surface features, these pavers, all those things?
Yes.
Okay.
Who actually builds this?
I'm sorry?
Who builds this?
Turner is our general contractor, and the subcontractor for the landscape work is Exquisite.
Okay, so as part of Turner's contract, you're going to be reconstructing that roadway.
Yes.
Or to your standard, right?
Right, well,
Our-
yes.
Other questions or comments? Amir Todd. All right, members of the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion on this item contingent upon the PIC's approval of the next item.
Make a motion to approve the joint petition by 130 Northern Ave LLC and 140 Northern Ave LLC for the abandonment of any and all rights to travel the public may have had on Pier 4 Place, as read into the record by the chair, as shown on this plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division Abandonment Plan, Pier 4 Place, private way open to public travel, South Boston, one sheet dated October 1st, 2017, with the caveat that the next item be.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Our third item is on a joint petition by 130 Northern Avenue LLC and 140 Northern Avenue LLC for the layout approval of a new private way open to public travel known as Pier 4 Boulevard in South Boston between Northern Avenue and Harbor Shore Drive. This was new business on February 1st, 2018. This is as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Layout Approval Plan, Pier 4 Boulevard, private way open to public travel, South Boston, 4 sheets dated October 1st, 2017.
Again, Tyler Deaton with Tishman Speyer, the developer for Pier 4. Nate Cheel with Tetra Tech, our civil engineer, and Elizabeth Randall from Reed Hildebrand, our landscape engineer.
As mentioned, it'll be a 64-foot wide private way with all the elements previously described: sidewalks each side, impervious pavers, bike lanes, travel lanes, flush median. Any questions on the specific layout that I answered?
63.7.
It's,
I just need it.
it's 64 now.
Questions or comments on the layout approval?
Just make sure when the street name sign goes up for that, it's a private way.
Yes,
There's been a lot of confusion.
absolutely.
In terms of parking regulations.
Parking regulations, people getting towed, thinking it's a city street.
Sure. We'll make sure that that's clearly designated.
Amir Todd? Members of the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion on this item.
I'll make a motion on a joint petition by 130 Northern Avenue LLC and 140 Northern Avenue LLC for the layout approval for Pier 4 Boulevard, as read into the record by the chair and shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Layout Approval Plan, Pier 4 Boulevard, private way open to public travel, South Boston, 4 sheets dated October 1, 2017.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our fourth item is on a petition by the trustees of Boston University for a grant of location with lead company status and no participants to install new telecommunication conduit, the city shadow within Albany Street, Boston proper, generally between East Newton and East Brookline Street. This was new business on February 1st, 2018. This is as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Grant of Location Plan, Albany Street, 100 East Newton Street, 650 Albany Street, 609 Albany Street, Boston. One sheet dated November 2017.
My name's Walt Meisner. I'm with Boston University. I'm the project exec on this, and to my left is Deb Danik from Niche Engineering, who will put forth the proposal.
Thank you. Again, my name is Deborah Danek. I'm with Niche Engineering, a project manager and engineer there. We have in front of you a petition and request for a grant of location for some telecommunications infrastructure. The BU has 3 existing buildings. The building at 100 East Newton Street is currently undergoing some renovations and a building addition. we're proposing and requesting to install telecommunications conduit connections from the 100 East Newton Building Street southerly across Albany Street, the 80-foot right-of-way, to connect to their existing building at 650 Albany Street. That conduit will contain, that duct bank will contain 6 piping conduits. We're also requesting to install a run from the 100 East Newton Street easterly along Albany Street to cross East Brookline Street and connect to their existing 609 Albany Street building. We originally proposed to have a duct bank of 2 conduits. As part of the review process and requests from the city, we've added in 2 city shadow duct. Those conduits will be there for the city's use in the future. So we are from basically the handhole you can see in front of the 100 East Newton Street building to the handhole in front of the 609 Albany Street building will include the 4 duct banks which have the 2 city shadow conduits. As part of this process, we also reached out to the interested telecommunications parties through the PIC's list. We have not received responses that anyone else wants to be a part of this duct bank build.
Thank you for your pushing the second conduit.
Oh yeah, you're welcome.
Sarcasm, what a surprise.
That's why we've got all this extra capacity.
Deborah, the work at East Brookline Street and Albany, your car is going to go through our ramps and intersection. Please ensure that when the work is performed and when it is completed, that it is as reflective as a proper, the work is done correctly. Okay, so
yes.
Make sure that it is not going to be an embarrassment for the university.
Absolutely.
Because they do good stuff and this work needs to reflect to that standards.
Yep. The plans currently show reconstruction of that full ramp to meet current ADA requirements.
So as I stated at the last meeting, obviously that run, the research you did for existing ducts in Verizon, Eversource, where we would, I mean, what did we find out? Nothing's available? I mean, that's a long cut.
Yep, so it's for a private connection between the 2 buildings for BU. So we've talked with Eversource, Verizon, and Comcast. None of them want any, they don't need the capacity within this line, have not asked to be a part of it, and can't provide the connections that we need.
I'm asking capacity in their existing system that you could run yours in, and then do a lateral from that manhole to the building.
They have not said that they have that.
Well, did you ask?
Could you please identify yourself? Thank you so much.
Hi, Christy Murphy, Compass Project Management. We're the OPM for the dental school project at 100 East Newton. So we did ask. Actually, we're trying to put our field office in 609, and there isn't Comcast even into the building. So we've been doing a lot of work with BU, IS&T to find other ways, not only to avoid this type of cost and project, but also even just to feed a field office, and there isn't anything available.
So Comcast is generally, that's a wheel of misfortune. That's a thin cable that they run their stuff. But Eversource, Verizon, in some cases, you have other vendors and stuff that have a whole duct bank in the street with spare ducts.
Right.
That's what we prefer. That, as stewards of the public way, to reduce the amount of cuts and utilities, that's what we look to do. So are you saying that you've reached out to Verizon and Eversource and other vendors?
Verizon? No.
So
We're talking to them now, actually, but only Comcast as far as that end of the street.
Comcast,
And Eversource, we did meet with them, and I won't say we asked that question specifically, but they were already telling us about challenges and potentially for our new transformer at the loading area, not having any room in that area.
Oh, I'm sure they asked you to build one, so.
Right. That's all I can offer.
Right.
this is more to you since you participate through this PIC office or this PIC's process. Eversource, even though they are in the business of electricity, they had a sub-branch that are in the business of telecommunications, and they changed the ownership of their electricity conduits to run telecommunications. So if you have future clients that are coming through Rich Engineering for these matters of this nature, please advise them that they need to reach out to Verizon and Eversource, their telecommunications part, because called Deco Electric or Instar something. But many of their electrical conduits, its usage was changed over for telecommunication purposes by the same commission.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. I'll
So-
definitely pass that on to our company.
So make sure that you advise your clients appropriately so that the digging gets minimized.
Yep,
Thank you.
will do.
Other questions or comments?
So you're proposing to have one of the handholds in the middle of the roadway?
Correct.
What type of handhold is it?
It's going to be H20 load-rated handle. It'll have an iron cover on top.
And why does it have to be placed there?
It has to be placed in the roadway in order to, so we're proposing it there because there's a lot of existing utilities at the intersection of East Brookline Street and Albany Street. And in order to run the conduit that far, it's about 320-foot length. And then thinking about, we've done a profile in a section of that to run the actual conduits, the actual cabling through the conduits. We need that in order to make it work.
So obviously, from a transportation point of view, for future maintenance, that's not an ideal location. We're taking one, if not two lanes of traffic. Definitely not ideal, given the location. And specifically, private handholds, have been a source of maintenance headaches. Not responding, Marcatarelli, trying to find ownership.
And when it settles, we have another little bump. And you all do good work. I mean, this is not being.
What does the
this
cover
is-
say?
Excuse me?
What's it gonna say on the cover?
We can say whatever you need us to say.
No, no. You need to-
It should
Public hearing.
identify you as the owner so that when we approach the cover, we know that it's
Yep.
you.
You can say BU Telecom.
Or if I want to overlay it and make it disappear, I want to at least know who I am making it disappear. Okay?
I got an idea. Terrier Telecom.
Trademark.
Other questions or comments? Amy or Todd? Members of the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion on this item.
I'll make a motion to approve a petition by the trustees of Boston University for a grant of location in Albany Street, as read into the record by the chair and shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, grant of location plan, Albany Street, 100 East Newton Street, 650 Albany Street, 609 Albany Street, Boston, one sheet, dated November 2017.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our fifth item is on a petition by Elliott Hotel, Inc. for the granting of a sidewalk cafe license for seasonal outdoor seating within Massachusetts Avenue, Boston proper, located on its westerly side, south of Commonwealth Avenue, and consisting of seating for 18 persons and approximately 372 square feet within the public way. This was new business on February 1st, 2017, and this is as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Sidewalk Cafe, 370 Commonwealth Avenue, Back Bay, 2 sheets dated February 5th, 2018. Good morning.
Good morning. So since we last met 2 weeks ago, we updated the sheet 1 to show the new infrastructure that is part of the bridge replacement project, showing the new traffic arm masts, the new pedestrian signals, and the new light as you requested. None of that infrastructure will be in between the sidewalk cafe and the bike lane that's being proposed, so that area remains clear. We'll have the 6 feet clear between the bike lane and the cafe space.
Much clearer.
Okay, yeah.
Now, I can look at this plan and have a little higher level of confidence to say that once the new handicap ramps are built and all the new alignments of the curb lines are there, the fixtures won't land in the middle of them.
Sure.
So, very
We struggled with what to show for the existing condition, and since there's kind of 3 projects rolled
Yeah.
in, so I'm glad that it cleared that up for you.
Thank you.
You want to synchronize this construction with the Mass Overcom?
Yes, we're meeting next week, if not the week after. I'm not sure the exact date, but
As long as that's set up.
yes, we're moving on that now.
So we take this opportunity to publicly commend for all the assistance the Elliott Hotel is giving the city in our bridge construction project, including the installation of a camera that helps us to monitor the activities of the bridge project. So thank you.
Transportation Department seconds that also.
And the resulting width between the sidewalk cafe and the cycle track will be roughly 6 feet.
6 feet.
5 feet.
It'll be 6 feet from the outside of the rail to the beginning of the buffer. There's a half-inch buffer between the actual bike lane. So 6.5 feet, depending on how you judge that.
Other questions or comments? Amy or Todd? Members of the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion on this item.
I'll make a motion to approve a petition by Elliott Hotel Incorporated for the granting of a sidewalk cafe license for seasonal outdoor seating within Massachusetts Avenue, as read into the record by the chair and is shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Sidewalk Cafe, 370 Commonwealth Ave, Back Bay, 2 sheets dated February 5th, 2018.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you. Moving on to new business. Our first item is 240 Devonshire Street, Federal Street, Winthrop Square, Boston proper, an earth retention license on a joint petition by MCIF Winthrop LLC and the Boston Redevelopment Authority.
Good morning, thank you. Brad Mahoney with Millennium Partners on behalf of MCAF Winthrop LLC. Here is a co-petitioner with the BRA for new business for the proposed project at Winthrop Square. Here with me are team members, Damian Siebert, Haley Aldrich, Chris Hodney, and Jared Dentalucci from Niche Engineering, Jay Green, and Roy Greenough from Suffolk Construction. So in order to, the rendering to my left is the proposed project, and then Jared or Damon, if you wouldn't mind. So we have started demolition of the garage, and you can kind of see the former garage is no longer there. We're trying to complete the demolition, and why we are here is to for the earth retention system for the occupying Devonshire as well as Federal Street. BWSC requested that we videotape the lines. We will to monitor those lines. We will also work with Boston Transportation to come up with an acceptable plan so that we can implement this safely. And if there are any questions, our team is here to answer them.
At the new business hearing, did they give a sense of what are the future petitions they will come through?
This is the new business.
Can you walk us through what
Okay.
the next set?
Okay, my bad. Totally my bad.
Okay.
What else will you come in front of this commission? This is just for the earth retention system. What else will you be coming in front of us?
So for the project, you know, sidewalks, canopies.
All 9 yards.
Yeah.
So,
Every action.
Every action. So recognize the fact that we are so excited about this project and we want to be as supportive as we can.
Okay.
But once you are done, the streets may need a little bit of attention because your construction vehicles themselves will be stressing out the infrastructure. So please do what needs to be done without us asking to make sure that the streets are as amazing as your own project.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
So, Transportation Department, we've been working extensively with Suffolk and Roy on the construction unit plan. Successfully implemented the first phase, which was demolition. So we're working on some of the issues regarding the building itself. Specifically Church Green, Roy knows about that, with circulation and some of that. So making good progress, so appreciate the effort.
Thanks. Thank you.
So you already have a BWSC approved site plan for the project, right? Is that accurate?
So, Chris Sonny with Niche Engineering. We have a BWSC approved cut and cap plan for the demo. The services have already been demoed from the building.
Yep.
We have not submitted a site plan for the final project
Haven't
yet.
yet submitted the site
No.
plan? Okay. Could, how big is the building like that?
So 664 feet tall, Boston zoning code, up to 500 residential units, 750,000 square feet of commercial office.
It's the tall building in your, because it's
Correct.
shown lots of
Yes,
buildings.
it pops above the photo. Yes.
So I believe in my email to you guys, I said that it was pre and post TV inspection of the sewers and then vibration monitoring of the water mains?
Yes.
Okay, so the process for that will go, just to clarify, before your supportive excavation goes in, those sewers need to be TV'd. During the process of going down into the ground is when I need the monitoring in place for the water mains, at a point between the water main and the supportive excavation. You got, okay.
Yeah, we got it.
And then you're gonna transmit that information, you can do it directly to me.
Okay.
And then we will, before you get, I guess it would be the water turned on, it would be the post-inspection of the sewers. Clear? All right.
Clear.
Thank you very much, appreciate that.
Other questions or comments on the earth retention plan? Give me your time. All right. 2 weeks enough time? March 1st?
Yes.
All right, great.
Great, thank you.
We'll see you then, Brad.
All right.
Our next item of new business is 106 Boylston Street, Boston proper, a projection license on a petition by ATG Colonial LLC.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, and the rest of the commission. My name is Jeff Ganem. I work for Light McCall Properties, and I am the owner's project manager for the Master Theater Group, who's making this request for a canopy license. With me are Steve Ehrenberg from Ambassador Theater Group, Peggy Ings from Emerson College, and Ellen Carter from Elkins Manfredi Architects. We are requesting, as is described in our materials, replacement of the existing canopy over the sidewalk of approximately 135 square feet. Asking if you folks have any questions about it.
Can you walk us through the specifics of the proposed canopy and in particular sort of the digital display which you're proposing on the
Sure. The canopy is it's 8'3" off the face of the building. It replaces about a 2-foot canopy in approximately the same location. We're fitting it within the pocket that exists. It is a welded steel frame with a glass roof. It's lit from below with downlighting. And then we are proposing several digital signs on the canopy itself, one on each side and one on the front. And then above it, which is really does not project into the street, but is part of the overall aesthetic. It's a glass digital panel that fits tight to the building that is clear when it's not on, and then has a digitals embedded in it and will have graphics on it when it's turned on.
And to confirm, this is within sort of our approved zoning area for digital signage?
That's correct. We've been in conversations with David Carlson at the BPDA about the canopy itself, and he is providing us formal approval. We've been back and forth a little bit about some of the details, but he is expected to get us approval on the canopy itself from their point of view very shortly.
Go ahead. Sorry. One of the pieces which we're very mindful of is just distracted driving along anywhere in the city. And have you looked at sort of the sort of content you'd put on a digital display board and how that would work with people who are driving along Boylston Street?
The signs are dynamic, but they are. I understand there are limitations on the kind of pace that you can have displayed on those signs. It will all be theatric related to the theater, and those we will comply with those pace issues.
Similar to what we have at the Cutler Majestic.
So I'm so glad you brought it up, because when that sign went up about 10 years plus, it created a lot of discussion within that corridor as to the type of signs, its wattage, the message, and non-standard signs. So there was a host of conversations, and I'm trying to remember who might still be around from that era. Mr. Carlson was there.
Yes.
Mr. Hesford was there.
Right.
So we want to balance what you need to do but with a clear reality that these signs can distract drivers, and we need to manage the threat of a distracted driver in a setting that has lots of students. Okay, so that is the concern we have. When you did the Cutler sign, there wasn't that many student presence over there, but now you know how it has grown, and we are so appreciative of that growth. So please balance the context of the signs. So that is just whatever the sign. Now, as far as what is permitted in terms of a sign, I think maybe I think it's purely via BPDA that regulates content.
Yep.
You know, whether there are public service messages that can be put in or not. So that's someone else. But please be mindful of a distracted driver and the fact that you've got all your students. If that's so. Okay.
Absolutely, yes, understood.
I'll go a little bit further here, the Vision Zero initiative, et cetera. In reading the zoning of the districts, does this fall within the district? Because I thought that was more of a, because of the Boston Common, its historical significance, et cetera, I thought that this portion of the street was not in the district.
The Midtown Cultural District?
Yep.
Yes, it is. It goes all the way from, it goes down and includes the corner there. Our whole campus is in the Midtown Article 80, Midtown Cultural District, yes.
I'm talking specifically for the digital display.
Digital signage, yes, it is my understanding that it does, and as I said, we've been in
We need to
conversation.
double check that, because we just went through this with the W Hotel, we went through it with the new Moxie Hotel, where it was permitted, where it was not. We want to make sure that we dotted our i's and crossed our t's on this. Because this
We will quote chapter and verse
right,
on that.
please do, because as you know, we've had meetings on this about the sensitivity of the students and the pedestrian crossings and making it safe and viable. We don't want to go back on that.
The alley is just sort of off the page to the right. Is that right?
I'm sorry?
The alley is just sort of just to the right of the theater. I should remember exactly.
I'm sorry, no, we don't have any, we don't have, the Colonial Theater is attached to both, it is 100,
Yeah, it's several buildings, I think, from the entrance to the alley, yes.
Right. Just thinking about right.
Edgar Allan Poe, that alley.
No.
Allen's Alley.
The one that goes to the state transportation building.
Oh, that's the one, Allen's Alley is off of Tremont, this is on Boylston.
Right, but I think what you're referring to is the alley that has the theatrical gate over it that runs down to
Boylston Place.
Boylston Place.
So it's mid-block.
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 Yes.
It's further
Yep.
west.
Further west.
One of the things you can just take a look at is just, again, sort of what that view corridor looks like for folks who are crossing by that, sort of maybe crossing by that alley, and whether and how this sign would potentially, again, the piece we're really mindful of is catch people's eye and take them away from seeing somebody who may be crossing the road in that particular area.
Right.
That's very important to us.
It's a little bit further up, but certainly, in fact, that's one of the things we've been working with the BPDA on to finalize and just get that right.
Okay.
I believe our intention is that there is a certain dynamic that's required of screens like this, but it really is more about flexibility than it is about a dynamic image.
Totally understand. Other questions or comments about any elements of this? Anything else which you guys want to share?
I just wanted to point out that as part of this, obviously, we are required to reach out to the utilities.
Yep.
And I got a call from Eversource late yesterday about the fact that there is a transformer vault underneath this canopy. So we will be putting on our drawings a requirement that our client be responsible for lifting that cap with a gantry. And typically, if they have to change the transformers, they would bring in a crane. But we will commit to being responsible for moving the cap and allowing them to get access to the transformers underneath the canopy. And that'll be on the drawings when they come back.
Perfect. Thank you. Amir, Todd, members of the public. All right. Is 2 weeks enough time to come back? March 1st, with sort of confirming some of the pieces that Commissioner Hessford asked about, and just again, anything which you can present about how this may or may not impact drivers along that corridor would be valuable to us. All right, thank you so much.
We will be able to provide that information by the date.
Perfect. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item of new business is 450 Summer Street, C Street, and D Street, South Boston, a discontinuance, specific repairs, and earth retention license on a set of joint petitions by OH NBH Owner LLC and the Massachusetts Port Authority.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. My name is Rebecca Lee from Mintz Levin. We represent the development team for the Omni Boston Seaport Hotel. To my left is Dante Angelucci, the Executive Vice President for Development at TDC Development, which is an affiliate of the Davis Companies. To his left is John Cusack, an engineer at Bryant Associates, the civil engineer, working on the PSC petitions. And behind me is Jonathan Patch from McPhail, the geotechnical engineer. This is, excuse me.
Sorry, is Christian from Massport?
Bill Tuttle?
Sorry, Bill, I didn't see you. My apologies.
Okay. These are three petitioners by a joint venture of Omni and the Davis Companies for three separate PIC actions. This set of petitions is the first set of multiple petitions that will come before you related to the construction of this project. This project is going to be built on Massport-owned land under a long-term ground lease that our client will enter into with Massport. Our client has already entered into a development agreement with Massport and is in the midst of advancing the design of the project and is working very closely with city agencies, particularly around public realm improvements and with Massport, of course. This building is, we have a schedule that calls for our closing in May and for construction to commence and a hotel opening in October of 2020. So without further ado, I'm going to let Dante explain a little more about the project itself before we go into the three petitions before the PIC.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. As Rebecca stated, my name is Dante Angelucci. I'm the Executive Vice President with the Davis Companies. The project we're introducing today is essentially a joint venture between Omni and New Boston Hospitality, which is a subsidiary entity of the Davis Companies. The project is a 1,054-room hotel. We will have the largest ballroom in the city for a hotel of 25,000 square feet and a junior ballroom at 15,000 square feet. We have roughly 110,000 square feet of meeting and ballroom space, in addition to including the pre-function space. We'll have roughly 30,000 square feet of retail space, and we are, as Rebecca stated, we're going to hopefully be starting some work as early as mid-April with some foundation work, with a completion date in mid-October, roughly, or October of 2020 is the current projection. We are really excited about the project. The parking associated with the project is being built as we speak by Massport. So we will have rights in the garage for the South Boston Water Transportation Center, which will be connected to our hotel. So that is essentially the plan. As you can see, we have some renderings. There are two 21-story towers on a podium. And we're working closely, as Rebecca stated, with the City of Boston and all of the agencies, as well as Massport, to advance the project. So we're really excited about the project. We look forward to answering any questions you may have as it relates to the requests we're making to PIC today. Thank you.
The only other thing that I want to mention at this time is that the work before you relates to what we're calling early start work, which is a utility line relocations and some installation of groundwater injection wells. A construction management plan has been submitted to BTD by John Moriarty Associates, the contractor for the project for this early start work. So those conversations have begun. We've also submitted to BTD a transportation access plan agreement, which of course cannot get finalized until the surface improvement situation on that block of Summer Street is finalized. But in terms of proceeding with the necessary arrangements with the city, that's happening. And of course, we have an Article 80 approval from the BRA.
Actually, I apologize. One other thing I did want to say is we've already secured our equity for the project, and we have an executed term sheet on our debt. So the project is financed at this point, and as I stated earlier, we're excited about proceeding and moving forward to get the building under construction. Thank you.
So, yeah, which petition would you like to start with? Okay. So the discontinuance is there's a small little tiny piece that's up on the Summer Street level that actually is part of the project site. So there's 738 square feet, some of which is going to be part of the project site, some of which is going to be the sidewalk. And then we'll go to World Trade Center Avenue's former C Street. And for some reason, an 8,000 and so square foot parcel didn't get discontinued when all the other discontinuances happened as part of the Central Artery, Third Harbor Tunnel. So when we came in to see Amy about this, instead of just discontinuing the one little Lawford parcel, we were asked to discontinue the larger area. So below World Trade Center Avenue is this portion that is former C Street, and we're just going to discontinue it, and it's already discontinued north of there and south of there. And insofar as existing utilities are concerned, Eversource has already alerted us to the presence of an Eversource granted location there. And we've discussed this with Massport. Massport is fine with either discontinuing subject to existing grants of location, or Massport is happy to enter into easement agreements with those who have facilities there. I've also been in touch with the Boston Water and Sewer Commission, and they've confirmed they do not have facilities in the area to be discontinued.
So the utility that's in a road will still be in a road, just not a city road, a Massport road?
Yeah, it's a service drive that actually is blocked off, so isn't not being actively used, but will be actively used as part of the service work for the hotel.
And just to, I know you just sort of went through this, but just to confirm, both sides of what is being discontinued are already discontinued? Both roads?
Yes.
Right.
Way of getting there.
And,
yes.
Right, exactly. Right. And the only, what is there besides the utilities? Like right now, what are the existing conditions?
It's a service road.
All right.
Yeah.
Underground, right?
It's beneath the.
So
Yes.
underneath World Trade Center Ave is a connection from Old Fargo Street across what is surface.
The Mass Hall Road.
This is more in your domain. It's a wonderful project, but pedestrians that are coming from your project that wants to go to the convention center, they still have to cross at the street level, right?
Well, actually, no, there's actually a tunnel that's being proposed for the project to go under Summer Street that actually connects through our hotel. So part of our RFP process, our response to Massport was that we would provide a portion of a covered walkway down the World Trade Center Ave, so you can go from the Silver Line station all the way under a covered walkway down World Trade Center Ave, through our hotel, down an escalator, and then through a tunnel that'll connect us to the convention center.
That tunnel's existing, right?
There's one existing. We're actually contemplating a different alternative right now that is more direct. There's some elevation changes in the existing tunnel. The existing tunnel might ultimately get reused for another purpose for the hotel.
Like service tunnel or something?
Principally, it may be used as a storage location for the ballrooms. For we have due to the tight site.
Closet?
Nah, it's not going to be a broom closet, but it'll be excessive storage. But we're going to build another glass box tunnel essentially that connects.
Because Summer Street, it has a variety of future programming needs. We want to reduce as many pedestrian conflicts within that crossing zone, so if you can keep them above or below.
Yeah, we have an alignment of interest in maintaining a covered walkway that is temperature controlled and allows our guests to comfortably move between the hotel and the convention center. So that will in fact, that's part of our obligation to Massport, and that will be included in the project.
Did you say Boston Water and Sewer had no utilities in the discontinuance zone?
I'm sorry, excuse me?
Did you say that Boston Water and Sewer had no utilities in the discontinuance zone? I thought we had a water main.
Jim Sycross emailed me yesterday and saying he's double checking with his engineering people, but he doesn't think that there are facilities underneath there.
Yeah, the drainage and the sewers that are in that discontinuance area are DOT. But I thought we might have had a water main. But either way, It would be the typical that easement would exist after the discontinuance.
So do you
We've
want to
done this
discontinue
before.
subject to rights of existing utility?
Yes.
Okay,
That makes my
fine.
base.
That's fine.
We're happy with that.
Yeah, that's the cleanest way to do it.
Okay.
That's fine.
It's still gonna be a road,
Right.
just not.
Yeah, so the easement stays and it's just not public. Got it.
Okay, that's fine.
Mike, I think part of it is where's the transition from BWSC to Massport? Because you got the water main Summer Street topside, a couple of fire connections in the bridge, and then it becomes part of the Massport Harbor fire system.
I think that's exactly
So I
correct.
think it's where the match line is.
Yep.
Other questions on the discontinuance? Okay. Do you want to move on to specific repair?
Sure.
This plan represents where the groundwater recharge system is going to go in the general sidewalk area at Summer Street. And right now, we're just firming up the horizontal location. Depending upon the final agreement on the sidewalk with curb location, that type of thing. And this is going to be done outside the retaining wall area in the temporary supportive excavation system. There would be a permanent system later. So we're working with Phil on the exact location on this and the spacing. And we're pretty much at the end. It's just a matter of nailing down the XY locations.
Yeah, will it be in the sidewalk, the wells? Or will it be in the road?
At this point, we're still working with the city and city agencies to determine what that roadway
Depends where the
section is
curb
going to
line
look
is.
like. Exactly. That's still,
It'll be
we have a
within the
meeting.
sidewalk.
Yeah, we
we-
prefer the sidewalk,
yeah,
right?
we have a meeting next Tuesday to solidify that dimension that we're working through with BTD.
Why would it not be put in the back of the building?
Because.
You have a drive and have.
Right, it has to do with the, well, I should probably let the engineers answer the question, but.
John Schmidt with Ditch Engineering with the site civil engineer on this, and we are doing some, the building is huge and requires a lot of recharge to meet the requirements of the city. So in the back, we will have some a recharge system as well. In the front, we're going to have the wells. So it's a combination of the two. The final look, we're still working on some of the utility design in the back, which we hope to resolve in the next couple months. So that the intent is to put as much water in the rear as we can, and whatever we cannot capture back there, and we actually have to tank it and pump it to the front for those wells. So what we're asking is, what this application for is the worst case scenario. I don't anticipate we're going to need all these wells, but we want to nail them down now so everyone understands what the worst case scenario is, similar to what we did in M Block about a year and a half ago.
So will you have an answer by the vote?
By the public hearing?
Yep.
Bob better answer.
That's not what I asked.
Work towards the answer.
What's that?
Work towards the answer.
Well, we will work towards the answer.
When did you say you will finish your building? 2000 and...
October 2020, it'll be open.
Awesome. So somewhere around 2020, you will be doing the sidewalk work?
Yes, correct.
So we have a Summer Street roadway reconstruction project that takes it from...
Melcher to West Side Drive, yes.
You know my
No
project better than
problem.
I do. How shameful on my part. But we want to carry that theme all the way through.
Yep.
Would you be agreeable to managing whatever that needs to be done in front of your property? Because it may be minor efforts on the movement of your sidewalks. Will you be agreeable to bring something?
Absolutely. I mean, our intention is to build out the improvements. And what we originally designed before the kind of the most recent discussions with the city was we were designing what you folks had already bid out farther down the street, and Howard Stein Hudson replicated that design in front of our building.
You're ahead of me. Thank you so much.
But I will qualify that there's some other thinking, engineering-wise, as it relates to the convention center.
Yes.
And making transportation improvements for the shows over there.
Yep.
And some of the.
Yes. So as long as, hopefully we will not cramp your style or your production line.
Sure.
John, who is doing the civil work for this? Who is your civil engineer?
Well, we have a
yeah. Okay. So you all know the game, coordinate things so that it doesn't become a point of awkwardness for either the commission members.
We have a meeting next week to set the curb line.
Right. Yeah, we're working to address all the city's
Is there a
concerns.
curb line in front of here? I want
Yes.
to be there.
Will do. Absolutely.
Yep.
Good.
Where did that come from?
Where did the meeting come from?
Yeah.
So there was a meeting last week where I think that we went through the initial reactions, and then this is the follow-up meeting to kind of decide what the dimensional requirements will be, both on the sidewalk and our curb-to-curb requirements within Summer Street.
Okay.
And it's, yeah, no.
Make sure that I'm part of
It's
any
perfect,
discussion
because
on
I
that.
think Pat's away.
Yep. Make the PDD
Yep,
hearing
100%.
again, because it's a great project.
Well, thank you. So we're excited.
Green infrastructure in front of the hotel on the sidewalk, is that part of the plan for the sidewalk?
I'm sorry.
Planting, furnishing zone with pervious pavers, things like that?
Yeah.
Right. And
Currently, yes. I mean,
That's the dimensions that we're gonna be discussing next week.
Right.
Okay, well, that would definitely be the preference of the commission, is that within the limits of this hotel, that the sidewalk included those green infrastructure that we'll see in the next application, and we've seen in previous
That would be
applications.
part of the next set of
Right.
applications.
There will be a porous edge.
Excellent.
Yes, yeah. Our initial design program that to be the case. So again, it's really about the dimensional aspects, because I think the sidewalk dimension that we're now talking about gets down to roughly 8 feet in front of our hotel to the property line. So I know that there's a requirement to have a certain amount of clearance for tree pits and the like, so we're gonna have to work with the city to figure out what the solutions are to achieve that. But that was our intention in conjunction with Massport and our presentation to Massport as well, in terms of maintaining a nice public realm.
Should we move on to the earth retention?
Sure.
I'm Jonathan Patrick, McPhail Associates. We put together the conceptual supportive excavation plans. What we're proposing is to install a soldier pile lagging system, which presently is approximately 8.5 feet out from the edge of the building. It's so far out from the building because we currently anticipate that the foundation for the building will need to extend past it to resist the unbalanced loads from Summer Street being about 20 feet higher than Service Drive down below. As shown in the typical section that in front of you, there is a single level of tieback anchors that is proposed, and the anchors are required because we have approximately a 20 to 25 foot height of excavation that we need to restrain. So it can be very difficult to do cantilever excavation support element due to that great height of excavation that we need to restrain. So presently, as shown here in this plan, the shaded area shows the approximate zone of the tiebacks that we plan to install. So conceptually, we're anticipating they might be about 4 feet on center. That's what we've shown. That could result in about 105 tiebacks. The area that's not shaded on the plan is the area where that existing tunnel, which Dante referred to as. So in that area, tiebacks would not be used. We'd use a cantilevered system.
After your construction, are you going to keep them there, or are you going to pull them out? Or?
Tiebacks would be detention. Anything, the soldier piles would be cut off 6 feet below the sidewalk grade, 10 feet below street grade if they were to be installed in the street, but right now we anticipate everything would be installed in the sidewalk.
Yeah, the tieback system is extensive, and it extends quite far into Summer Street. And we just need to remember that people will be digging in this street for decades to come. So not only do we need to protect the existing utilities, so all the typical requirements for BWC apply here. Pre and post inspection of the gravity pipes, monitoring during the excavation activities, and post inspection, make sure tiebacks don't go through pipes. But also the detentioning of everything is key, because there's a 100% chance that we dig at Summer Street.
Yes.
The usage of Summer Street in the next 50 years, I'll be foolish if I can say that I know what might happen. Okay, so the foundation systems might be quite dramatic for whatever that may be supported along the Summer Street corridor. I'm sure you all have heard of a variety of people mover systems that may, and those babies need large foundation systems. So make sure that this stuff is not in the way.
The foundation that's shown here is for reference only, so we know where that starts. It'll be the subject of a future vertical discontinuance.
Amy, this before the public hearing, make sure that Zach, Chief Design Engineer, and AD and PDD Engineering is part of the specific repair plan. So
Yep.
make sure that that meeting takes place. So when we come to the public hearing, everyone will be nodding their heads saying, absolutely.
Also, we'll need confirmation from the utility owners of the other two utilities that you have on the opposite side of your wall that they're okay with your proposed relocation.
So with we've had some problems with different projects with the earth retention system, being separation within the roadway shifting, as I'm sure you're familiar. Are there organics here, or what are we dealing with?
Yeah, the soils on the Summer Street side, you have a layer of granular fill that's been there for pretty much over 100 years since that Summer Street embankment was constructed. And below that, you have a cohesive fill that was positive when they actually dredged for the harbor and kind of made the land. So on the Summer Street side of the site, there are no organics. So issues with the organics out there are anticipated to be minimal, if at all.
And again, why the separation between the property line and where you're putting the SOE? Why the distance?
So the details regarding the foundation system and how far the foundation may possibly need to extend over the property line into the public way are currently being worked out. So we'll have a better answer for you in the next 2 weeks.
That's going to have a direct impact on the construction management plan. So what we're dealing with for site utilization and stuff. So the faster we get that, the better we're going to be able to respond to the site utilization construction management plan.
Other questions or comments on the earth retention plan? David or Todd? A couple things we'd want to take care of between now and March 1st, but does March 1st work? It's a good time for you guys?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Perfect. See you guys then.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Our final item of new business is 2451 Washington Street, Guild Row in Roxbury, pedestrian easement specific repairs on a set of petitions by 2451 Washington Street LLC. Good morning.
Morning. I'm Wendy Carter, the Associate Director of Real Estate at Madison Park Development Corporation. Madison Park is the sole member of 2451 Washington LLC. Thank you for hearing our request today. We're requesting specific repairs and pedestrian easements related to 2451 Washington Street, which is 16 proposed new construction condominiums, and they'll be mixed income condominiums targeted at first-time home buyers. The specific repairs include closing of 2 curb cuts, creation of 1 new curb cut, the creation of a 3-foot planting trench with tree pits and permeable pavers. We'll be planting 3 new street trees and removing 1, which we have received permission to remove. We'll be relocating 3 streetlights that are currently located in the middle of the sidewalk. They'll be moving to the edge of the sidewalk. We are proposing 2 small pedestrian easements to create a minimum sidewalk to meet requirements along the full stretch of the sidewalk in front of our property. And at the request of several city departments, we are also agreeing to expand the existing sidewalk into Guild Row and therefore create a wider sidewalk and a smaller street. I have with me Alicia Zukowski from Semiotis Civil Engineers and Belinda Lusinskas, who's the owner's construction consultant, and they're available to answer technical questions.
In your pedestrian easement, I see there's a little notch in it. Can you explain why the?
Actually, it's very small. Now, when we put about 6 feet away, so there's.
Why is the notch? Sorry.
The plans have been updated since the ones that you're looking for in front of them. And it's,
Is it a uniform thickness?
yes, it will be a uniform thickness, and the area that's requested in that is actually larger than what they needed with the bumping out of the
So
curb
for
line.
advertising purposes, it's
Yeah.
okay, but
We
it
want
isn't.
a placeholder for but we will come up with, if any pedestrian easement is required, what's appropriate to make it a continuous, smooth back of the sidewalk.
Is there a need for a bus shelter or anything within this area? Please think along this, sorry, if you can, if time permits you, ask yourself whether there are bus stops within this area or in front of your properties, and whether those bus stops are highly used, and if the bus stops have any bus shelters. Because sometimes it is difficult for us to ask for a bus shelter if the sidewalks are not wide enough. So if you are providing these pedestrian easement areas, sometimes it creates a wider space for a shelter to be there.
They're
This-
bumping out the curb line at our request.
Okay.
To conform
Why are we
with-
doing that?
What's that?
Why?
So this will conform with the BTD Crossroads project that is upstream of this. This will be what we're looking to carry down, and with the reconstruction of the park that's on
So
the
I can
opposite
see the
side.
materials, but why specifically is that being widened as it relates to traffic?
Because the comment from the transportation department was it not running as a double right.
It was 2 rights from Guild onto Washington. Is that right?
I think it's wide enough for that.
It is
yeah.
wide enough to 2 rights.
But I don't think that that's what we're
They tried
aiming
it like that, but
Yeah.
officially it's one.
Right, and so I think that we want the curb out so that it can't be driven that way.
So I disagree with that, but that's nonetheless. The Para brings up a good point in that, you know, if it's being expanded, what is it? Are we putting out for a cafe? How's it being programmed? Is it going to be a bus shelter? You know, what's the improvement? Why are we doing it?
It's to improve the pedestrian crossing across Guild Row, and to widen the sidewalk in front of this property so that we've got enough space around the corner. The trees get a little bit weird upstream, so we want to essentially pull out this curb line, and the thought would be that the curb line upstream could come out and the trees could stay inboard and not have to be removed, and that this could be the curb line and have the path of travel outside of the trees.
So that part of Guild Street can effectively have an on-street parking lane?
Right, this is a step to get us closer to what our other projects should be bringing down the street.
We have at Guild and essentially Guild and Shaman and or
So I had emailed a few comments. I don't know, did I get a response on those? Pervious pavers and handholds in the sidewalk, things like that?
That's correct. Previous pavements and
The handhold for the streetlight.
Yes.
That streetlight, we got approval from Paul Cosia to remove, so.
Okay.
And that handhold will be removed when that streetlight will be removed.
Okay, and then, so the furnishing planting zone will have pervious pavers?
Yes.
And I made a comment about catch basins could be connected on, with a perforated pipe underneath that strip. Did you receive those comments?
I think that's up for discussion.
It was
You should-
decided because we have like 3 feet of structure and soil which is going to be permeable, and the pavers are permeable, so we don't have under drain pipe along the street line.
Either way, these plans have been significantly updated since what's in front of you, so you should make sure water and sewer, because the curb line is going to stand to affect them the most.
Yeah, can I have updated plans, I suppose, would be
Definitely.
the easiest way?
Yes, we'll give you a written response to your comments as well. We do have them.
Because of the moving of curb line, now we have relocated one of the catch basins, which is right here, there is one is on the curb line, and we would like to just
Yeah, I'll need to look at the revised plans then and give you comments on that.
Yes, we're gonna do formal submission to coastal water and sewer for this basin.
Okay.
Amy, can you help to run this thing down? So I just heard an offhand remark that a street light may be removed or relocated. I don't know the relocated part. If you could chase down the street lighting to ensure.
What's happening to that light is coming from at the direction of street lighting.
Okay, so what if it's being moved? Because we had another situation with your same Madison Park where one part of the equation lights were being removed, the other part of the equation was not putting those lights back. Okay, so it necessitated a field meeting to show people, hey, this light is gone, and now you have a dark area with pedestrian crossing. So Amy, if you just can make sure that while we are trying to improve pedestrian safety, inadvertently we are not taking a light out.
100%.
Thank you.
If we show relocation of those three light poles, one is right here, another here, and another.
Okay, and the one that is being removed?
Yeah.
Which one is being removed?
Okay, one which is now at the middle of the proposed curb cut.
Okay.
Then the other one is right here, and the third one is in this location.
So that is the key area because that's where the new pedestrian area is.
So I'm moving this one to a location which is shown right here. The one which is located here goes to the location.
Thank you so much.
And the other one is going to the other side of the curb cut.
Thank you so much.
I had you in mind, Para, when I made those comments. Make sure they match.
So this is a small project review, Article 80,
Yes, we already received the approval.
and construction management plan. Who's putting together that?
Sorry?
The construction management plan by your contractor?
The
who's
general contractor,
Who is that?
we're in negotiations right now.
So this, before anything goes, there's a construction management plan requirement that needs to go to my office. So they need to develop that plan and submit it on basically site utilization, what they're looking to take to build a building. So we'll need that plan before we issue permits. The driveway parking, how does that driveway operate? Is that a right in, right out? Coming onto Washington Street?
Yes, that's the intention for
That's the
it.
intent?
Mhm.
Is there another, to that point, if one was looking to go sort of towards Dudley Square, is there another way of sort of getting towards Dudley Square, or are people going to want to take a left out of this parking lot and head towards the square? This is the only point of sort of access and egress for the site, right? Okay.
And it's just gonna keep the same pattern like it's existing.
Yes.
It's actually a better access to go right. Once you go left, you end up in that sort of weird shaman. Yeah.
Other questions or comments? Every time? Okay. March 1st work for you guys? 2 weeks work for you? All right, we'll see you for public hearing in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.